this wonderful liner, which is actually in a
Wait a minute. He absolutely wants to be a good boy. He's very worried about ropes for whatever reason. So he wants to come to me right now, but he can't because the rope is chasing him.
He's looking at the camera.
He started to step towards me and he saw that it was following. So watch his outside ear. See it tipped back, watching the rope. So he's got this thing about ropes for whatever the reason. So what we did as a review is we introduced him to our tools, the rope being one of them. He got pretty good about this. And when you're doing something like this, when it gets good, try to add something. So I stayed in the V, kind of close to him, and now I'm trying to get further away and kind of throw it at him. And he's very good about it. This is his bad side. But you see, he's pretty good about that. Pretty good about that. And the next thing I introduced to him was the stick and string. I went in the V. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to come from a greater distance. So in the Pirelli program, we would say we want to play the friendly zone, a friendly game in every zone. And Pat divides the horse into zones. This is zone 1 from here out 1.5 miles. This is the delicate zone. This is zone 2 right here. If you put a rope here, right, just the neck. Zone 3 would be from the rope back to here, including the front legs. You ride in zone 3. This would be zone 4, and the tail, and 1.5 miles that way is zone 5. So when he gives directions, he tells you what zone to drive. So now I'm just going to go over on this side. Here's that truck traffic. So if I wanted to play the friendly game in every zone, from every zone, I stood here in the front, and I blocked here, and I was in zone 1 pretty much. Now I'm going to put my hand on the rhythms, and I'm going to be playing in zone 3 and 4, but I'm standing in the cuspis of zone 2 and 3. So then I might want to go down here and play the friendly game in zone 5 from zone 3. So why do you think you would want to do that? Because you ride in zone 3, you're spanking zone 4 when you get up there. So you want to be able to use your tools in every zone, from every zone. You've all seen me get behind Mackie and stand at his tail and spank the ground. So I'm in zone 5 playing the friendly game. He's not ready for that yet, or he may not be, and tonight's not the night I want to find out. So, and he does have issues of things behind him, but he's getting very good about that. My next session, I'm going to start taking the rope and tossing it back and forth behind him. So that should be very interesting. As soon as you have a day, we're going to get that done. We did saddle him. He was very apprehensive, but by staying in the quiet zone here in the B, I was able to get it done very nicely, I thought. So the next thing I want to do is wait right there. Just whoa. Getting my bag. Now it's very interesting. He was way more afraid of the rope than the stick and string, and he's way more afraid of everything else than the bag. The bag, I was able to bag him, flag him. He just doesn't care.
Do you think that anyone else has worked with a bag with him?
I have
And
no
that's
idea.
why? Because no one scared him
But
of it?
wouldn't you think that that they would have worked with him with ropes?
But they scared him of it. They gave
Yeah.
him bad habits with it. That's what I mean.
So who knows? I'm gonna put these over here. So I got through that.
Right.
Through that. That was fine. So what I decided to do to get him over these problem areas, and mainly the biggest problem was the right front foot picking it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of do the $1 million move. Close my hand, look at the butt, talk to the butt, talk to the butt, spank the butt. So he's dropped his shoulder, so I'm trying to get him to move, but keep that shoulder over there. Good. And when he gets soft, I'll drop my hand. Good boy. We'll do the other side. So I'm at the drive line. Get your butt over there. Driving the butt. Driving the shoulder. So I'm going to wait until he softens. Then I'm going to drop my hand, keep the butt going, and bring the front end to it. So he's much better on the other side. But all his problems seem to be on this side. So the next thing I want to do, I'm addressing his feet. I'm going to ask him to move his hind quarters. There. And I'm going to ask him to pick up this foot. So what I do is I stay in touch with him. I pause at the, good boy, at the chestnut. He just offered it to me. Good boy. And I don't take it. He has to give it to me. Good boy. Because if you take it, he takes it back. So, he took it back to me. I take his feet from him. Now I want him to offer it. So if I wanted to clean it or rasp it, now try to trim him today, and she couldn't get her hand on him. So that's why he had that hesitation. Now his hind feet, I'm going to ask him to disengage before I ask for it. And loosen that foot up. And if he doesn't loosen it and offer it just soft like that. See, I'm not lifting. If I can't hold it with a finger, I don't want it. And something that Larry Stewart taught me, I have my elbow on his hock right now. And he taught me that if you touch that horse in enough places, and Dr. Miller teaches this too, they're way less apt to kick. Now supposedly he kicks bad with his hind foot. He might, but he's not yet offered to do that. He's very old. So I'm going to be stuck trimming him myself for a little while. And I have asked him to put his foot, all 4 feet, in the hoof jack, in the cradle of the hoof jack. It wasn't pretty in the beginning, but twice now he's put all 4 feet in very quietly and done it very nicely. So he's almost ready for that. Now the next thing we couldn't do is we couldn't get him to a mounting block. So we're gonna try. So I worked on it, I think 3 times. But I'd never asked him to the mounting block unless it was up against the fence. So we're just gonna see how this goes. So what I did on the fence, I sent him this way, disengage him, send him this way, disengage him, send him forward, stop him, back him, and then I would ask him to come up and pick me up. So what I did when I had him saddled, I did it once with him saddled, is I put weight in the stirrup. So I'm going to back him off again. Move your butt over there. Move your butt over there. Stop your foot. Back up. Good boy. Come up. And pick me up. Good boy. So we got a nice start on that. Yeah. And he hasn't offered to. When I had him saddled, I put weight in both stirrups, left and right. He looked at me like I'd lost my head when I went to the right side. obviously. Nobody's done that. So that's where that is. And the last thing that we're working on that isn't going that well is the follow the field exercise. So the pieces of that would be step your shoulder there, put your butt over here, step up. So all I'm trying to do is just communicate these things to them. I want lateral flexion because so I asked for this. Don't fall asleep. I asked for this in zone 3 because that's where I'm going to be riding. So I'm just waiting. Now I've not done this before. I've not held him in this position, but I'm going to try until I can get him to soften. Big sigh. So he's moving because he's looking for the answer. And obviously that's not the answer. I want him to get to that feel. Now I can do one of two things. I can wait here until it happens. So, and then I'm going to ask him. And it wasn't very meaningful. Now I'm going to ask him to back up. Step his shoulders over. More. Good boy. So I'm just doing a counter turn, both sides. Good boy. Now I'm going to ask again. Good boy. He's pulling very hard. So I'm going to hold. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Nope. Good. That was the dog, but I'm taking it. Good. Good boy. So all I'm interested in is for him to follow a field. And I don't mind, good boy, that he stepped into me at that moment because what it says to me is it's connected to his foot. It's not the way I'm going to want it, but I'm not going to punish him for that. So he knows a little bit about giving to that. So now I'm going to see if I can get him to drop his head, and I'll be able to toss this rope back and forth. It's not as low as it's going to be, but it's where it is. Now, toss the rope, and I can tell already who's going to move. Oh yeah, he's worried. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So see how I'm dragging this? There, good boy. knows that's how to get out of it.
What does flashing yellow mean?
Flashing yellow.
Battery.
Just stop it.
Just stop it.
Would not allow those mares in. Even when they're in season, the stallion would not look at that mare. And the mares would chase them off. They had their own personal herd and they won't let her horse in. Well, that's what you guys had did. When you fathered this horse, don't come in my herd.